If you have ADHD, then thriving in the workplace is very important to you. So I wanted to offer you 3 rules for thriving in the workplace with ADHD. The first rule is always prepare for meetings. Now, preparation, it can be a few minutes, it can be less than that, it can be a lot more than that, depending on what your responsibilities are, but your rule should be never show up to a meeting without being prepared for that meeting. So the second rule then would be manage distractions. Managing distractions is bigger than you might think. There are in a workplace a lot of other people, and those other people may have may commandeer your time. That is, somebody might pop into your doorway with something that's urgent, but maybe not important, and yet that's distracting you from what you're trying to focus on. In another instance, uh, somebody walks by and just starts, "How was your weekend?" Or, "What are you planning for this coming weekend?" And so that kind of relationship building stuff, while it might be appropriate in one sense, in another sense, it can be distracting to what you're trying to focus on. So put some thought into managing those distractions. Figure out how to either teach other people around you that you don't want to be distracted, or start putting up signs that say please do not disturb until a certain time, or even signs that say if my door is closed, do not knock on it. Manage your distractions. So then the third rule for thriving in the workplace is be aware of when you are overextended and say so. Lots of times, those of us with ADHD have a relatively poor sense of time, and I'm not just talking time management, but it's like we take on a task because we imagine we have the time to do it, and then it turns out that we really don't, or that it takes longer than we expected it to. So the problem with that is that the problem grows into this situation in which you've got a lot of different things going on because you imagine being successful with all of those things. And let's say your boss comes up to you and says, "Hey, I need you to do yada yada." Now you're inclined to say, "Well, of course I'll do that," because you want to keep your job. But I would encourage you to consider this. Your boss walks up and says, "Hey, I need you to do this thing." And you say, "I'm glad to do that for you. However, I want to give you some feedback here. I am completely uh, full. I've got my plate is full. I feel like I'm overextended. I'm I'm at the point where I can just barely do what I'm expected to do. So if you want me to do this new thing for you, then I'm glad to do that if you will tell me what's on my plate that I can set aside for a while, because I do not have an unlimited amount of time and energy, particularly if it regards taking on something else. Now, in all fairness, your boss, and for that matter, no one else really knows what's going on with you. They don't know if you're overwhelmed. They're not they're focused on their own stuff. So it is reasonable for you to say, "Yeah, I can do that, but I'm covered up, and so something won't get done if I do that." And otherwise, have that discussion so that expectations are realistic. So there, always prepare for meetings, manage your distractions, and be aware of when you're overextended and say so.